In my recent pitch for how I would approach The Last of Us Part 3 if I was writing for Naughty Dog, many of you were very vocal that my story treatment did not touch on Dina. First and foremost, let it be known that I love Dina, and I totally ship her and Ellie. That is why one of the most heart-wrenching scenes for me was in the kitchen where Dina pleads with Ellie not to leave her and JJ. Shannon Woodward was completely amazing as Dina throughout the whole game, but in the kitchen scene especially, I felt her raw pain and heartache. Would I love to see Ellie, Dina, and JJ living happily ever after? In a perfect fantasy, yes. Would that satisfy me as both a writer and an experiencer of a The Last of Us game? No, and I'll tell you guys why. The Last of Us, this beautiful and haunting world we all love to inhabit, has never been about fantasies, nor should it be. The Last of Us has always been about a sense of grounded realism in a devastated world with a cast of characters that run the full gamut of the human experience. And while there are rays of light, glimmers of hope, and the promise of what mankind can be if they work together, The Last of Us has always been anchored and twinned by darkness, severity, and the threat of desperation. Actions have consequences, and those consequences can be heartbreaking. This is no different than Ellie's devastating choice to indulge in a revenge quest over her duties as a spouse and a parent to an infant child. There has been much argument about Ellie's PTSD and this being an excuse for her leaving, as if her revenge would be some holy grail that would heal her. Not only is this the most terrible advice for such conditions, as someone who has suffered from and wrestled with PTSD and depression myself, we must always remember that such things are never blank checks to avoid accountability for our actions, especially as our choices impact those around us. Naughty Dog said it better than I ever could when Ellie returned to her homestead. The house was completely abandoned, except for the things in Ellie's room. This was, without question, Dina's very clear message to Ellie: you are on your own. So what does this have to do with my treatment for Part 3? Not much, only to say that I think the major movements of their relationship were spoken for. Remember, actions have consequences, and those consequences can be heartbreaking. This is part of the special recipe that makes The Last of Us so powerful, and my treatment would endeavor to serve this as such. Will Dina be in Part 3? Who knows? Of course she can be. She can even be included in a version of Part 3 either based on or very similar to the main story I propose. I could certainly see Dina in flashbacks, especially in regards to when Ellie and Tommy leave Jackson on motorcycles. But any relation in it to Dina would be a subplot and not conclusive to the main story arc that brings the end back to the beginning and merges the unity of opposites to create a spark of hope for mankind as Ellie passes into legend. I think the most important thing is that losing Dina as a wife and a life partner must remain an irrevocable consequence of Ellie's actions, much like her missing fingers. Anything else, in my view, would be a great disservice to the brutal honesty of the series. If you enjoyed some of the unique animations and model work in this video, I cannot recommend Katarina, the Abby Stan account on Twitter, more strongly. She has treasure troves of custom renders and artwork just waiting for you to discover. So show her some love and let her know that an old wolf sent ya. If my content means something to you, I could use your help to build something great by subscribing and sharing this video across the four corners of the internet. And I have other videos that may offer you something you didn't know you were searching for, including some that are not about The Last of Us, and it would really help me if you would check those out and let me know what you think. Until next time, I'll catch you in the wilderness of the mental.
Dan, also known as Wolf.